shout out to all the people who never go through a negative experience or who never have to go through anything that makes you question your sanity or if you're doing anything correct, because you are living a life. Like, these people or those people out there that are living like that, they are living a life. Somebody who's never been through heartbreak, somebody who's never been broke, somebody who's never been down financially. If that is whoever out here and they've never lived that life, honey, good for you. But yeah, anywho, it's all energy. Hopefully when I watch this back, something made sense. Okay, so boom. I'm out here minding my business, meditating, reading, thinking, and it's crazy how sometimes people like to say things are not spiritual, or let me lean back. Well, I'm trying to get comfortable in this little chair. It's crazy how I fix my little tummy. Anyway, it's crazy how some of us think that we're not spiritual beings, but if it's true that energy cannot be created or destroyed, then technically, I don't have a spoon, so whatever. Then technically, everything is energy. So as I'm reading about, what is it called? Stoicism, I believe. Child, I just looked up how to pronounce it 2 or 3 times and I still, whatever. And it sounds decent enough, but then it made me think about toxic positivity, honey. And like having these negative experiences, just being like, oh, well, I'm just gonna stay positive and I'm gonna woo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Honey, well, I feel like, to be fair, that was also discussed in the book, and she's very good at, as far as this author that I'm reading, she's very good. Ooh, my mouth is it good or not? Salivating. She's very good at, I'll pick that up later, at bringing in perspectives, like different perspectives or perceptions, and then also tying it into her own personal experience, kind of like what I do on my own little website and blog and whoop-de-doo-ki-doo, you know? And it's beautiful to read. Like, it's beautiful to read an author who is different but similar. My only thing is, when it comes to what I'm reading, and I'm just talking about any like self-help book. I'm not even just talking about this particular book I'm reading. When it comes to like self-help books, it's technically up to us to actually follow through with what we're reading, which is also something that's been said as well. So my whole thing now is, okay, we're doing all this reading, we're going through all of these experiences, we're going through all of this stuff as far as life. We know what to do. We know the choices that we probably should or could make, but when the actual situation happens, it's like a whole new ball game. It's kind of like we don't even really know for sure how we'll react until the situation arises. I feel like for me personally, I was the type of person who, yes, I had my flaws, but when it comes to certain things, like I don't care. Like whatever. But I guess when it comes to things that we take personal, that's when things get a little murky. So it then becomes, okay, now it's about not taking things personal, but being able to also balance having emotions or thinking logically or making reasonable decisions and stuff like that. And that's hard. Like, let's be real. Like, if something were to happen, because we're human, if something were to happen, like the passing of a family member or just anything that's negative in our lives, in a way, I feel like it's inhumane or it's almost robotic to think that, oh, well, I'm just going to breeze on by. Or maybe, somebody could have some type of clinical condition where they don't feel anything or whatever. I don't know, honey. But for some of us who actually go through negative moments in life or negative situations, it doesn't feel good. Like, what the fuck? Like, the shit don't feel good. Hello. And there's a lot of things that I feel like I said or I judged people about, and then in a way it happened to me, but not as bad as others. Like it kind of like tapped me a little bit just so I could experience it for a little bit, or not even experience it, just to get a feeling. And as I'm going through negative experiences, in a way, it's making me more compassionate than I already was, because I already had this. They're so cute. Buki is so nosy. I already had this awareness about myself where it was kind of like, okay, once you get tied to something, once you have this emotional connection to something, I get attached, honey. I feel like I used to be a ride or die. I didn't care if it was right or wrong with somebody that I was rolling with and they were my, road dog or whatever. Honey, to a certain extent, look, your problem is my problem. Oh, so-and-so did something to you? Okay, boom. Oh, okay. He did what to you? Okay, well, what's going on? And then as I continued to mature, it was kind of like, it's not worth it. And then I fell into my own situation, and honey, I had to handle that stuff by myself. I had to handle it on my own. But then, obviously, after I came back down to earth, as far as like what to do next, I realized I do have somebody in my corner, and it took things like combusting or boiling over and coming to a head, kind of like a pimple, honey, for things to just like calm down, for things to just say, okay, you know what? Now that I've gone through this experience, now that I've done this or gone through that, kind of like what I just said, whatever, I know how to handle things. I know how to, I'm not going to say I know how to handle things, but if it were to come up again, if a similar situation were to happen again, I know not to give it as much energy. And that brings me back to energy. Like, had to sit in that for a minute. I am a firm believer that I speak energy, honey, and I speak it fluently. I may not get it right all the time, but as far as an overall energy, it is definitely felt. And for me personally, I've had to learn how to channel that energy. And as I'm continuing to mature, but not too much, honey, because I like to play a little bit, but not too much. I'm starting to realize I don't really care to give my energy to negative things. And will I give my energy to negative things? Maybe. Will something piss me off every now and then? Maybe. Will I get frustrated, or will stuff that I see annoy the out of me? Probably. Let's be real. Probably. Yeah. Absolutely. If I want to be really real about it. But I'm having to learn to look at stuff and then just keep it pushing. Literally. Like, if I see something I don't like, okay, whatever. If somebody is doing something I don't like, if it is not directly affecting me, it is literally none of my business. None of my business. And it's crazy how we like to get caught up in other people's business, or how we like to just be like, ooh, but what's going on with that? Without having an actual, like, not intellectual, but what can I say? Like a conversation that's going to open up the door to just have us sit, think, and then decide on what to do next. And it's so weird. Like, when I think about my life, it's so weird because I've done that too. Like, I've been the person where it's like, okay, don't do that. I've been the person where it's like, okay, this is going too far. It's not that serious. Let it go. But I've also been that person where it's like, okay, nuck if you buck. Like, nuck if you buck, honey. So, I don't know. Everything is a freaking contradiction. So, it almost feels like, let me just hone in what I really want to say. It feels like we're just all saying the same thing. Whether it's a spiritual teacher, whether it's a counselor, a therapist, a minister, whoever. It just seems like we're all saying the same thing. Like, we're all just like, okay, it's a choice. It's a choice, it's a choice, it's a choice. So if everything is a choice, then it just comes down to live the experience. If everything is a choice, if we know right from wrong, hopefully we do. If we have a conscious, whatever, and we understand how to utilize it without getting over on people all the time, or, whatever. But at the same time, it depends on the situation, because I've been in situations where I needed a basic necessity like food, and it was donated to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? But they had to, I don't want to say they had to break a rule, but whatever. And that's when those situations come to a light, or come into light, where it's like, it's all a choice. It's all a choice. Because some choices do help formulate a better outcome, but those choices may not be the best. And then some choices that we hold back on, or some choices that we're scared to make, which plenty of people have said, honey, I'm not saying nothing new, are choices that we should have made. And so basically, honey, it all comes down to Nike. Like, it all comes down to Nike. Just do it. Just do it. And I feel like I wrote that in a post like a while ago. I feel like we already know this. We already understand it. And I don't even understand why, to be honest, I don't even know why I'm spending how many minutes? It's been 14 minutes, about to be 15 minutes, having a think piece on it, because they're so cute on the trampoline. Because life happens to all of us. And shout out to all the people who never go through a negative experience, or who never have to go through anything that makes you question your sanity or if you're doing anything correct, because you are living a life. Like, these people, or those people out there that are living like that, they are living a life. Somebody who's never been through heartbreak, somebody who's never been broke, somebody who's never been down financially. If that is whoever out here and they've never lived that life, honey, good for you. But yeah, anywho, it's all energy. And now that I'm really sitting in it, and now that I'm really meditating in it, I don't know if I will ever master patience, because I know I'm a pretty patient person, but you can only be so patient without being a doormat to people in certain circumstances, because then it becomes passive aggressive. But what I will say is, or it can become passive aggressive, but what I will say is, and I'm thinking, and what I want to say, so cute. Self-control. It's on a whole other level. Like, do things agitate me? Like I said earlier, do things agitate me? Yes. Do I see stupid stuff on the internet, or like toxicity that I don't really want to look at, or just like takes on certain situations where I'm just like, really? Yes. But I'm realizing, look, we live in a big world, different cultures, different people, and that's okay. Now, do I want to, because I used to be the type where I was like, I love everybody, and da-da-da-da, and then, you know, I was judgmental at some point, and now I'm just kind of like, I'm just doing me. I'm just doing me. And I can't remember if I just said this in this video, but it's kind of like, I probably did. Have my negative experiences made me more compassionate? Yes. But have they also hardened my heart and made me a little bit more apprehensive of where I spend my energy, or where I go, as far as being around a lot of people, or the type of friends, or the type of relationships that I want to have? Absolutely. For me personally, I have no desire to go back to, and I don't even want to say it so harshly, but I have no desire to go back to any friendship or romantic relationship or anything like that from my past. My relatives, as far as blood, are a different story. They're a different story. I feel like I only get one mother, I only get one father, and that's just how I feel about that. And as I'm beginning to just grow as a person and mature. And I feel so good because my mom, she was like, I'm really starting to see the maturity in you. And I was like, finally. No, but I was like, yay. But yeah. Anywho, what I really wanted to land on is everything is about respect for me now. I've never really cared for disrespectful people. I've had my moments where I've probably been disrespectful, but like, I'm talking about those just, intentional disrespectful people. And as I'm maturing, even that doesn't even really faze me anymore. Now I'm just kind of like, well, whatever. If that's how you want to feel, that's how you want to feel. Me personally, am choosing not to give my energy to certain things. I am choosing not to allow certain people, entities, or whatever the case may be, to affect my happiness, to affect my joy, because I've went through the lows of lows in my life. And who's to say I'm not going to have another one? I don't know. I'm still young. Haven't even hit 30 yet. So it's just like, until I hit another moment or whatever, or another positive moment. Because I feel like we also tend to focus on the negative things too much. You know what? Like, I won't know. And is it scary to think that we're in this world to just experience life and to just like experience all of the good and the bad that may come with it? Yes, I almost cussed, but yes, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like it is a bit intimidating, or it is a bit scary to think that I am in this world as an individual who may or may not experience the good things that the world has to offer me, but I may or may not experience all of the bad that the world has to offer me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's easy to look at these little quotes and these little whoop-de-doos and doo-doo-doos, but when it comes to real life and actually trying to survive and at the same time still be as morally upright as you can, it's difficult. It's difficult, honey. It's not easy. But it also comes down to us as individuals. It comes down to us as a person. Because I'm not speaking for anybody else, I believe that, and I had to even question myself on that. I had to question myself, okay, well, are you? Or did you? And it's like, well, why did I do it? I was trying to, I had to think. And what I love is she even mentioned that in the book. She was like, in the book, it was kind of like, if you have to question if you've ever been fraudulent, or if you have this like fraudulent personality, you're probably not. And so when I read that, I was like, whew, okay, breathe. So it just also comes down to, if I know I'm trying my best, if I know I'm not out here trying to intentionally get over on people, if I'm not out here trying to intentionally, which I also said in my very first blog post, if I know I'm not out here intentionally trying to just be something that I'm not, especially at this stage in my life, that's the first step in living an authentic life. And I don't know. Plus, that saying about you are what you attract, I don't know about that one either. Because there's a lot of things, like I feel like I started off so innocent and so like, I just want love, I just want, you know, pure love and and all these things that I thought life was just gonna give to me. And I just started attracting certain things and entertaining certain people that I had no business talking to and no business associating myself with. Fortunately, I feel like once we realize Bookie, hey, what are you doing? Once we realize those moments, once we realize like, this is not for me, honey. This is not how I want to live. Or these are not the people that I want to associate myself with. Or this is not the type of energy that I want to be around. It doesn't even matter what attracts itself to me at that point, because now I'm living for me and I know what I want to be around and what I don't. And I know who I am. So, yeah. Life is interesting, honey. Because, child, take me around a group of people and the energy is not giving. First of all, I wouldn't even do that nowadays. But, it's beautiful maturing and like forming this mentality where it's like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I don't want to, I don't want to. But if I want to, I'm going to do it. And it doesn't have to be about, okay, well, this person is going to like it. This person is going to dislike it. This person is going to say this. This person is going to say that. Who the cares? Like, yes, care. But at the same time, if that person goes away, if this person goes away, if all this falls down, if everything just whoop-de-doo-de-goo-la-doo-de-doo, and you're left with yourself, if I'm left with myself and I think about, Bookie, stop, baby. And I have to think about, okay, you know what, whatever. And I have to think about, well, if I never make this decision, or if I do make this decision and I succeed or I fail, am I doing it because so-and-so said, okay, don't do it? Or am I doing it because somebody said, yeah, do it? Or am I doing it just because that's what feels right or wrong to me? And I'm willing to suffer. And I'm willing to suffer the rewards or the consequences. And that's just where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. But that is nothing that hasn't already been said. Life is so beautiful. Life is so beautiful. I feel like I rambled a lot. I probably segued into so many things, but hopefully when I watch this back, something made sense.